Front as the United Kingdom is now mulling the recognition of a Palestinian state. This according to British Foreign Secretary David Cameron, who spoke on Monday shortly before his fourth Middle East trip. Cameron added that such recognition would only occur after Hamas releases all hostages that it is still holding captive. The chief British diplomat added that the move would represent irreversible progress to a two-state solution and, crucially, the establishment of a Palestinian state. It is all part of the five-point plan that the UK is pushing, which would see the end to the fighting, the release of hostages held in Gaza, a political horizon for a two-state solution, and a technocratic Palestinian government that would run both Gaza as well as the West Bank. Well, joining me now here in studio to break all this down is David Mencer, the former director of Labour Friends of Israel and senior international connector at Honest Reporting. Nice to have you in studio, David.
No, just no longer Honest Reporting, but the rest was correct.
Firstly, he is not putting the cart before the horse here, because what exactly would happen to the Hamas terrorists that are in full control of Gaza right now and who also have a fortune of support in the West Bank?
Well, I think since he made those comments, the British government has been rolling back privately amongst Conservative MPs. They've told me this morning that there's been no change to British foreign policy. So in that sense, there is no change. And I think it'll be important to see what Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, says today at Prime Minister's Questions in an hour or so's time. So that'll be very, very important. But it's not unusual in the UK for the British Foreign Secretary to point one way and for the Prime Minister to point another way. And I think that's what we're seeing now. Let's just remember that the UK is very much engaged in the fight against Iran right now. So I think it's important to shore up support from across the international community. That's why David Cameron probably made these comments, and I think you should see them in that context.
Well, who exactly is the partner for peace here? Because it's all good and well to demand a two-state solution in the midst of a war, but Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and the Palestinian Authority, for that matter, have all openly declared that their intention is to get rid of the Zionist entity, aka the Jewish state. So in the chant of From the River to the Sea, there's no little fine print there that says, by the way, what we really mean by this chant is two states for two people.
Look, I think you're absolutely right, Batia. I'm not going to argue with you in any way whatsoever, because it is absolutely ridiculous, and we cannot, at this point in time, at 2024, 117 days into the most horrific crime against the Jewish people, which there has been since the Holocaust, the reward for that cannot be a Palestinian state. And of course, overarching all of this is again and again and again, it's the Palestinians, the Palestinian leadership themselves, that constantly decline a Palestinian state. So I think this is just mood music. You could say that the Foreign Secretary is thinking about a legacy for himself, but whatever the reason, he's done what he's done, he said what he said. I think British policy is made by the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister will make his points clear today at Foreign Office Questions, which I think is only in an hour or so's time, so we won't have long to wait. And I think he would say that the British policy is unchanged, and I think that's what David Cameron has been making clear to Conservative MPs who are supporters of this beleaguered country which we're sitting in right now. I think he's making that point very, very clear, that the British government foreign policy has not changed.